So this is Dr. Kavita Singh, Associate Professor in Department of Civil Engineering and Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So today our topic will be for discussion is about types of data in GIS. This is the part 2. We have already discussed some information about it in the previous lecture. So there are some more information about this topic, so we are going to discuss today. So in the previous lecture we have discussed about spatial and non-spatial information. What is spatial data and non-spatial in GIS. So in detail we have just discussed about the spatial data like raster and vector, what type of information it has, what are the examples we have in this spatial data. Now we are going to discuss about the non-spatial data. So in this types of data in GIS, we are going to discuss today about non-spatial data. So non-spatial data and what are the examples of non-spatial data, and integration of GIS and what is metadata in GIS. This all we are going to discuss today. So let us start with our first topic, that is about the non-spatial data. So if you remember, we have discussed about the spatial data. So yesterday in the previous lecture we have discussed about the spatial data. So what is spatial data? If you remember, spatial data is the data which shows the entire information, all the geographical information on the Earth surface feature, whatever we see around us, in the form of geometry, in the form of shape, that is all comes under spatial data. Okay, so spatial data can be of two forms, like representation can be of two forms, that is raster, another is vector. Okay, so raster and vector, we can just represent this data in the form of spatial data. Now once we are representing a spatial data, we must attach a non-spatial data to it, then only the result will be somewhat useful or somewhat we are able to understand. So spatial data in the previous lecture is about like in a map or an image. Once you click a photo, when you click an image, or through camera, through sensors, whatever it may be, once we click a digital image, so you will be having lot of information in that image. So that information is about, we have like tree, we have roads, okay, we have railway track. So these are all spatial data because it shows the geometry and we are able to see the shape, size and pattern. But until unless we add a non-spatial information to it, non-spatial information is if this is the railway track, by seeing we can just understand it's a railway track. But what is the name of the railway track, which area it is located, once you add this information to this railway track, this becomes a non-spatial. Okay, so this data becomes non-spatial. So always once we are showing a spatial data, we have to attach the non-spatial data to this spatial data. Okay, so spatial data, as I told in the previous lecture, we have two types, that is raster and vector. So representation of raster and representation of the vector, these are the two forms of data, how we represent the data in the system to the users. So raster, if we talk about raster, so this raster is like we have the representation of the real world in the form of grid cells. Okay, this is called as raster. And vector is representation of the real world in the form of point, line and polygon. So we have just discussed this all in the previous lecture. Now today, what is non-spatial data, what type of data it is, what type of data we attach to the spatial information. So this is spatial information. What type of information we are going to attach to this spatial data is called as non-spatial data. So in normal definition terms, if you talk about non-spatial, that is information about the spatial data is called as non-spatial data. Information about the spatial data. This is the spatial. So once we assign the information about this spatial, it is called as non-spatial data. Okay. So here if you see here, non-spatial data, also known as attribute data, refers to information that is not directly associated with geographic coordinates. Okay, and this type of data describes the property or characteristics or spatial features and provides the additional information for analysis. So non-spatial data is often stored in tables linked to spatial data through unique identifiers. So this non-spatial data, suppose we have linked the information to this railway track, or we have linked the information to this tree. So tree is the spatial, right? Tree is the spatial. Now non-spatial information, what we are going to link is type of the tree, okay, tree name, type, okay, location, area. So if this all information, if I add to this tree, this becomes as non-spatial. Okay, so that means I'm giving the information to the spatial data, that is called as non-spatial data. Like this, all the information whichever we see around us, whatever is there in the map, whatever is there in the image or the photo which we have clicked, so that a particular information, once we assign a this non-spatial information, then only it is useful data. So non-spatial data is stored often in tables linked to spatial data through the unique identifiers. Now examples of non-spatial data includes, what are the examples of non-spatial data? We will just discuss here. So examples of non-spatial data we have is demographic information. So in demographic information, you have population statistics, age, distribution, income levels, etc. Land use information, we have types of land use: residential, commercial, agricultural, zoning classifications. And environmental data, we have pollution levels, vegetation types, soil characteristics. This all we have in this environmental data. So this all information, like when we talk about demographic, so demographic is about the population. Okay, population. So in an area, if you want to show the population, so what will be the spatial data? Spatial data will be this boundary will draw, and wherever the area is located we draw, and we assign the information as how much population, total population, okay, total population. We assign about male, we assign about female. So this all information, once you assign it to this area, that becomes the non-spatial information. And this is about the like it is in the form of a tabular format, and it gives the statistics like age, distribution, income levels about this population. That is all about the non-spatial data of a population. Same the way if you talk about land use information, so types of land use: residential, commercial, agricultural, zoning classifications and all, that all comes under this land use classification. Now environmental data. So what is environmental data? So when you talk about the environmental data, it is about some area, population levels, vegetation types, soil characteristics. So if you want to show spatial information, so environmental data, spatial information will be in the form of a boundary, right? So we'll just create a boundary, we'll create a polygon, and in this polygon we assign the information as population levels, then vegetation types, okay, then you have a soil characteristics, okay. This all information will be adding in the form of a tabular format. All the statistics will be adding, the location, the area, how much area I discovered, that all information we are going to add in this environmental data. Like that, we have infrastructure details. So in this infrastructure detail, information about the buildings, about the roads, utilities such as material condition, capacity. So this all information we will be adding in the form of infrastructure details. So how will be the spatial data for infrastructure detail? So if you talk about roads, buildings, so building we will just put a point like this, or we'll create a shape like this. So this becomes a spatial, okay. And what is the non-spatial in this? If you assign the information to this building, like building 1, building number, area, and what is the village, latitude and longitude. So this all information, once you assign to this building, that becomes the non-spatial data. Now economic data. So economic data, employment rates, business types, economic indicators, this all information it is shown in the form of the attribute. Now, this is how the demographic information it looks like. So, demographic about the population. So, it is the study of population based on the factors such as age, race and all. So, here in demographic information about the age, gender, number of children, marital status, this all information becomes non-spatial. Okay, non-spatial. This all information is non-spatial. Because why it is non-spatial? It is the giving the information about the spatial. So what is spatial here? Demographic population if we talk about. So in this spatial will be the area it will show. So this is the area which is called as spatial. So what is non-spatial? This all information comes under non-spatial. Okay. Like this we have here land use information. So earth surface, land surface, habited land, agricultural land, global calorie supply, global protein supply. This all information if you want to add to a land use information, that becomes a non-spatial. This type of all information comes under non-spatial data. So once you assign, once you insert a spatial information, you have to assign this non-spatial information to the spatial information. Then only it is useful. Now, if you talk about environmental data, so environmental data forms of models and data from remote observations and from the in-situ observations, real-time monitoring, this all information will be added to the environmental data. So if you talk about infrastructure data, what type of infrastructure we have? Like banking, health, e-government, military, energy, transportation, information and telecommunication. So this all information, this all type shape, it is spatial. Shape is a spatial and this is non-spatial. Simple. This is spatial and this is non-spatial. Like this, the feature which is visible, it is called as, if it is visible, it is called as spatial. So once you assign the information to it, it is non-spatial. These are all non-spatial data. Okay. So you can assign more information to the non-spatial if you talk about military. So this is spatial. So non-spatial you are writing as military. So in this military, what you are going to add? You can just add the area. You can add the location. You can add the village. So which area it is located, which village it is located, where is the location, what is the latitude and longitude of that location. That all information comes as non-spatial. Right? So next it is about economic data. So if you want to show the economic data about the market income, growth, or anything related to the finance and all, that all information if you want to show, you can show in the form of chart, you can show in the form of data or tables. That all comes as non-spatial. Okay. Right. This is one more example of non-spatial. So it is like land use and land cover, non-spatial data. So of an area, if I want to show, suppose this is my area, I have taken this as a mandal. Okay, or let me say it is a village. So this village, this is the boundary. So this boundary is called as spatial. Now to this boundary I have assigned this all information. Okay, all the information I have assigned to this boundary. So what information I have assigned? Land use and land cover. So what are the land use and what are the land cover? So here we have bund, canal, fallow land, double crop, dry tank, fallow land, harvested crop, canal, land without scrub, canal, we have pond here, residential areas. This all information is about non-spatial. So where we have added, this all information is added to this spatial. So this is spatial means it's a mandal boundary, mandal boundary or village boundary we can say. This all information is added to this boundary. So boundary is the spatial and non-spatial is what? This all entire information is coming under non-spatial. So this non-spatial can be represented in the form of pie charts. Okay, pie charts or bar graph. So however it may be, the information can be represented in the form of these graphs. Now this is, I think you understood about the non-spatial and it is very clear about the spatial and non-spatial. Just understand, spatial is the information what you see around you, the objects, the geometry, the location, the boundary, the building, the tree, the road, the railway. This all are non-spatial. This table, this chair, or this camera, this all are spatial. So what is the non-spatial information is in that? So once you assign a information to the spatial, like if I talk about a table, so this is table means spatial. So if I assign table 1, table 2, table 3, these all are non-spatial. So like that, if I assign a building, I have 2 buildings, 3 buildings, 4 buildings. So in this college, if you have 4 to 5 buildings, so that all buildings are spatial. So what is the non-spatial in that? So if you assign a information to it like block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4, block 5, that all becomes as a non-spatial. So spatial and non-spatial, these two are studied together. Later what happens? These two are studied together. So these two information, the spatial and non-spatial. So these two information are integrated together. So how it is integrated together? So integration is done in the GIS, that is ArcGIS software. In the coming lectures, I will be explaining you about ArcGIS and QGIS. So this is the software where we can implement, where we can just feed the data, feed the spatial data and assign the non-spatial data to that spatial data. Okay. So later we do the integration. What is integration? The integration about spatial and non-spatial. So in GIS, spatial and non-spatial data are integrated to provide a comprehensive view of the world and to support various analysis. So here's how they interact. So like we have here mapping. So spatial data is used to create maps, while non-spatial data provides a detail that can be displayed as a labels or in the form of pop-ups. Okay, so create maps, like we just create map if I have a spatial data. If I have a spatial data, what are the examples of spatial data? If you remember, the examples of spatial data we have is satellite data or aerial photogrammetry. From aerial photogrammetry we have aerial photo or any image which is scanned. So scanned image. So this all information we have in the form of spatial. Now this spatial information, if I want to create in the form of map, so what I will do, just I will take this image and feed this information to our GIS or any GIS software. We feed this information and later what we do, generally we convert. So this satellite data, aerial photo, scan map. So these all three are spatial and it is also known as raster. So if you remember in the previous lecture what I told you, raster is the data which is represented in the form of grid formats. Okay, raster is the data which is represented in the form of grid formats. So once the satellite data which is in the digital form, when it is displayed, that is already in the digital form and it is called as grid format. Aerial photo, when it is in a digital format, when it is in the soft copy format, that data is also in the form of raster. Now scanned map, scanned image, that scanned image is also in the form of raster because a normal paper, if you scan it, that is converted to the raster now. Now this raster image, if you want to go with mapping, if you want to create the mapping, what we have to do, we have to convert it into vector. Okay, we are going to convert this data to vector. So what is vector? Vector is converting the information in the form of point, line and polygon. So once I convert the entire information which is already I have in the satellite data, aerial photo and scanned image. So once I convert, first I categorize the information and I convert the information in the form of point, line and polygon. Then after what I have to do is, after converting this information, I have to assign this non-spatial data. Okay, so this is called as integration. So once you have created this point, line and polygon, your spatial data is ready. Okay, now what you are going to do, you are assigning the information to it. Information in the form of tables, in the form of what type of area, location, latitude, longitude, which road number or railway track or something like building number. That all information once I assign, that comes under non-spatial data. Okay, mapping analysis we can do. So non-spatial data is used in the queries analysis to filter or categorize the spatial data, such as finding all schools within a certain district, where the district is a spatial entity and the school attributes are non-spatial. So for example, how do we do the analysis is, in this map, if we have both spatial and non-spatial, you have both spatial and non-spatial. So what we can do is, we can just put a query. With this query, you can just, if you want to know, if you put a query that how many schools are available. So what will happen? It will give you the information because it has more both the data, spatial and non-spatial. Like in Google Map or in Google, if you want to search anything, like how many schools are located within 10 kilometers, so it will show you the location as well as information. Okay, so what is the location here? Location is the spatial. What is the information here? That is non-spatial. So this is how analysis we can do once the data is fed in the software. Okay. Next, visualization. Spatial data provides the geographical context, and non-spatial data enriches the visualization by adding details and attributes, enabling more meaningful insights. So this is how the integration happens. So this is done in the software. Actually, it is done in the software. So this is spatial. This is the software window of. What you can see here is of ArcGIS software, where the spatial data is inserted. So once you click on this spatial data, it will show you this non-spatial information. Okay, non-spatial. This is the information it is showing here. Same like this. This is the land use land cover map of some area. So this is spatial, and here it is non-spatial. What is the non-spatial here? So here in this, if you click to some area, it will show you which area it is located, what is the mandal here, which village it is, what is the latitude and longitude of this location, how much population is this. That all information, once it is fed to such spatial data, once you click that spatial data, it will show you the entire non-spatial information here. Okay, so this is one example, and we have one more example you can see here. Lot of information is added in this map. So this is one area which we have taken. In this area, the reference is taken from the satellite, and lot of information is added. Like if you see in this column, you have the information about this boundary, and some points are there. Okay, some residential areas are there, parcel boundaries are there. So if I want to know any one point of this, so what I'll do, so this is also a software called as ArcGIS. So in the software, this data is inserted. So this is spatial. Now non-spatial is just, we have clicked to this point. So what we got here, we got in the form of table. So in this table, this all information is added. So how much information is added? Like it will show you the mandal name as Karamchi, Prakasham district, and all the information like population it is showing. SC/ST population, primary schools, and all this all information it is showing to this point. So what is this point? This point is spatial, and what is this information? This information is about this point. Okay, information is about this point. So this point is spatial and this is non-spatial. Okay, I think I hope you understood now spatial and non-spatial. It is more clear now. Now this is for example, now you can see here, in an urban planning scenario, spatial data might include the locations, boundaries of different land parcels, which are non-spatial data, might include the land use type, ownership information, zoning regulations for each parcel. Combining these data types allows planners to make the informed decisions about development and land use management. In summary, spatial data defines where things are, and non-spatial defines what things are. So this is very clear. Spatial is where means location, and what is information. Okay, so both are essential for effective GIS analysis and decision making. Now there is one more type of data here in GIS. We call it as metadata. So what is metadata? So metadata is the information about the data. So we generally call it as data about data is called as metadata. So data about the data means, suppose data is about area. This is a village. So if we give the information about this village, like information like, what type of information we can say? Information like location and area, population, GPS location, or which mandal it is located. So this all information once you tell, so this all information about data is called as metadata. Okay, so data about the data. So this is the data, and about the data, if you talk about, it shows you the spatial as well as non-spatial, both the information. So that is called as metadata, data about the data. So metadata provides information about other data, describing the content, quality, condition, other characteristics of the data. So in GIS, metadata is crucial for understanding the source, accuracy, limitations of spatial and non-spatial data. And data source, information about where the data is originated. Example, aerial imagery sourced from the particular satellite. So it also gives you the source. Where is the source, from where? Suppose for its source in sense, if I have saved a aerial photo in D drive, so it will show me the location where it is, and in D drive in which folder it is. Again, if there is a subfolder, it will show me. So that all information where it is located particularly, it will show you. So data quality describes the accuracy, reliability of the data, the resolution of raster image, the precision of the vector data, and data creation date, when the data was collected or created. Example, data set collected in 2020. Now here, this is one image here about the metadata. So in this software, ArcGIS we call it as. In ArcGIS we have a window called as Arc Catalog. So in Arc Catalog, in this we have, if you want to view any metadata, just what we have to do, we have to just right click on the folder. So it will show you that contents, preview and description. So content, it will show you the list. Okay, preview, it will show you the image preview. Okay, description, it will show you about forest resource within the study map, vegetation, hydrology, road, elevation, Yellowstone National Park, and US. That all summary it will show in the description. So this all information comes under metadata. Okay, so metadata is what? It is data about the data. It's called as metadata. So I hope you understood about the non-spatial and metadata and how do we integrate in GIS. In the coming lectures, I'll be showing you one by one, step by step, how do we integrate these two types of data, and I'll just try to just show you in the software part also. So these are the references, you can just go through here to find out the more contents about it. So I hope you understood about the non-spatial data. So that's all for today. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.